Alright guys, it's Joke here, and basically last month I watched Bocchi the Rock, and it's absolutely amazing. It was anime of the year for sure, and I had to read the manga. So I fully caught up on the manga. As you can see, I read the whole thing, 51. Obviously I'm not gonna skip 10 chapters and shit, but what happened was when I was reading it, I kind of had a theory. Same with watching it, but I had a small little theory that Bocchi's dad was actually a really insanely good guitarist, and that he was in a very popular band. And what's it called? He decided to leave the band and just get money from like royalties or whatever, and live a nice normal life with his wife and his kids. So that was my whole theory, and as I was reading the manga, we don't get a whole lot of information about them. And let me just turn this down a little bit because it's a little loud. But what's it called? We don't get a whole lot of information on his dad, but ultimately my theory was completely fucking nuked in the latest chapter 51. As you can see it, I have it up in the tabs. Yeah, chapter 51 completely nuked my theory, and it actually made me a little sad, but it is what it is. The first thing I wanted to, the first like shot at my theory was back in chapter 25. As you can see, I have chapter 25, 39, and 51 up. So let's go over. First things first, this thing has a 9.47 rating. This thing's insanely high. It is very good though, so it's understandable, and the anime was fantastic. So the first shot at my theory. Oh, by the way, manga spoiler shit. I'm gonna put it in the title anyway, so if you're watching this, you know I'm gonna talk about the manga. But anyways, they're basically gonna be performing at Starry, and is this Starry or is this at the other location? I'm not sure, but what's it called? They Bocchi's dad, I forget his name. I think it's Naku or something like that. But anyways, her dad pops up with her sister, and they meet Seika. So obviously Seika being older, if he thought his dad was actually famous and shit, she probably would have recognized him. But the fact that they just kind of said hello and that's it. And even further on, right here, they kind of just say, take care on your way home. Once again, thank you for looking after my daughter. And that's it. That's it. And then they go, so she didn't recognize him at all. And so that was the first shot at my theory, and I was like, alright, this he probably wasn't that big. But then, you know, I had to snort the insane amount of copium to justify why she didn't recognize it. And it came down to his bangs. Obviously you never see his eyes or anything, so I was like, you know what, he grew out his bangs to cover his face, so that way he decides to dress the way he does, like in just normal clothing, so that way he wouldn't get recognized by anyone. So that was the copium speaking. I was like, that's the way I can convince myself that what's it called, nobody notices him, and the what's it called is because he grew out his bangs and now he just looks like a normal person. Well, not really a normal person, but you know how it is. he basically disguised himself with his bangs, so that way nobody could tell who he actually is. So that was the first thing. Then chapter 39, we get right here. This is another part that actually supported my theory a little bit. Right here, they're basically doing the voting thing, and everybody is going around trying to help. And so the mom is obviously pretending to be a high schooler and trying to convince other people to check out her band and vote for her. And the dad's like, where is it? Treated like a curse. Dad pulled an all-nighter yesterday to try and make a flyer too. I'm going to have it placed in a bunch of places. Won't staying up all night get in the way of your job? And he's like, you stayed up all night to make Ripe Mango Robo too, though. Yeah, because he made a costume, though. The Mango box, he made like a Super Gundam version of it. So she made that too. And then bro says, Dad's a deadbeat employee, so it's fine. I sleep during the day. This isn't the time to be supporting me. That's all we get for that part. But anyways, the dad himself basically says he's a deadbeat employee. So he basically don't really work that much. He's like barely doing the bare minimum. He doesn't really care. He's like, I sleep during the day. So I don't know what the fuck his job is, but if I had to take a guess, it's nothing crazy. It's like, but I don't know. Yeah, it seems like he has a lot of free time, and he's not like crazy. But he has a house. He has 2 kids, and I'm sure the mom probably works too. But what's it called? Anyways, I was just like, you know what? If he can, this kind of supported my theory slightly, just because I was thinking, you know, if they can have good money, you know, his guitar cost him. He says, I don't have the chapter pulled up, but he says it cost him 5,000 yen, which is, no, not 5,000, 500,000 yen, which roughly is about 5 grand, probably less, because like I think the dollar is more than the yen, so it's like probably like 4.5, 4.7, maybe 4.3 thousand dollars. But the point is, it cost him a pretty penny, and to just let his daughter use it, boy's balling, I think. Boy is balling. Like, he says it's cool to have multiple guitars, so I have a feeling he probably has some more. But letting his daughter, you know, practice and carry around the $5,000 guitar is pretty crazy. So yeah, I figured he's probably living off royalties and stuff like that, and he probably cashed out, like grabbed all his cash, never spent it when he was like famous and shit, and he was just saving it, and now he's basically using that to live off of, and he kind of just makes passive money through, like, well, not really passive money, but he works like bare minimum just to get some extra cash flow in. But that's my theory. That was my theory, and I was like, yeah, this, you know, if he's gonna be a deadbeat employee and he's not got like a crazy job or anything, and he has a house and everything, they have a car too. So what's it called? I think in Japan, having a car is kind of more on the luxury side, because I think you have to pay a tax. I could be wrong. I forgot where I saw it, but don't quote me on that. But I think having a car isn't, like, because they have like trains, they have buses, they have like so many good ways of public transportation that cars aren't really that necessary. But they still have one as a family. They have a dog. They're living a good life. So I'm pretty sure, and I don't know where he says it. I think he says it. Does he say it here? I don't remember where he says it. Right here. I'm sorry, but no, he doesn't say it. But he says it in a certain chapter. What's it called? That he makes it good enough money. So I was like, you know what? He's making all this money from the royalties back then. He's good. So that's kind of what I figured. But again, now we get into chapter 51. My theory was completely fucking nuked, and here it is. It makes me a little sad, to be honest. Basically, Bocchi's trying to figure out. She's trying to do the arrangements, and the dad comes in to basically give her some help, some pep talk or whatever, right? And let's see, where does it go? Back then, we had to give it our best. So he's basically talking about the old days, right? And he's like, yeah, this back in my day, we had to do this, that, right here. And then he says, you know, your dad used to be in a student band back in the day. I remember coming up with a great song. I was so sure that the other members would love it that I showed it to them. So I gave them a good song I wrote in half a day while drinking myself to death, and it was a smash hit. Right? So basically, he made a song with his band, a student band, and I'm assuming they're in college because he said he was drinking. So I'm pretty sure that bro was they were in college or whatever, right? And then he said why it was such a success that it was even used in a local commercial. I was so surprised and really happy. So the song went, like, it was used for commercial, right? That's where your dad's band peaked. After that, we really died down, and besides, your mom told me she'd leave me if I didn't find a job, so I had to quit. That part makes me sad. I kind of like the mom just a little less. I like the mom, but, like, man, that's harsh, bro. It's like, if you don't leave the band and get a job, what's it called, I'm gonna leave you. That's crazy, bro. Sounds like a wild memory. But yeah, he basically says his band peaked at this point, which is basically they just made a song that was a big, they made a one-hit wonder, and it was used in a commercial, and then he had to quit because, you know, besides, your mom told me she'd leave. Yeah, so that's kind of sad. It nuked my whole theory. So now we know at his peak, he just made one good song, and that was it. He was using commercials, which, granted, to this day, he still gets royalties, and so that's probably somewhat true that that's why he's a deadbeat. He's still bringing in some money through that, and obviously through just working a normal job, I guess, or like an easy ass job. So that basically nuked my theory that he was super famous and he's super insanely skilled. So I mean, he could still be good at the guitar, but he wasn't popular for sure. But yeah, where is it? I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Yeah, completely rushed out of my. I feel like I haven't finished this video and I'm gonna remember, but it is what it is. So yeah. Oh yeah, now I remember. There's a YouTube video. Someone made a poll. It's like, who do you like more, the dad or the mom, right? For Bocchi's. And what's it called? And I was like, yeah, I'd probably pick the dad for sure, just because this part. Oh no, that's not what I was gonna say. This is okay. So obviously, right? It's pretty rough right here. It says she told me she'd leave me if I didn't find a job, so I had to quit. Now, if you go here and you check out the comments, no, not even the comments necessarily, but right here at the bottom, it tells you who uploaded the, what's it called, the chapter. Now, as you can see, all these chapters are pretty much, we have, well, this guy started all the way to 38, and then this scanlation group they took over. So right, chapter 51 is made by someone else, and as you can tell by the comments, all the color pages are out of order. Whoa, scan drama, what's it called? Where is it? Which one? I'm confused. Where is it? Fucked up the page order twice. If you're gonna snipe a popular manga, at least do it right. So painful. And I think at some point someone says that, yeah, there's also no honorifics. So someone's basically saying that the translation's not that good. Shitty porn scanlation crew picks up normal stuff and does a bad job at it 101. So as you can see, it's not this translation isn't by the normal people that usually do it. So, and there's people complaining about the quality of it. So I'm assuming that, what's it called, the wording might be a bit off. So perhaps that's not exactly true, but it's kind of I'm trying to wonder, how is it out of order? I'm trying to wonder, because they said it's out of order in the colored pages, but it doesn't quite seem like that is the case. It doesn't quite seem like that, but whatever. Oh, never mind, there's other colored pages. Oh shit, is it out of order? I don't know how you could fuck this up, but I guess, I don't know. The point is, the translation might be a bit different. I noticed this while I was reading it too. Like this chapter, I was like, shit, that sounds kind of weird. But what's it called? Yeah. What's it called? The translation might not be 100% accurate. So once the normal group does it, if there's any big changes to what it is, like any big changes, then I'll either make a follow-up video or I'll make it in a pinned comment. But if there is no changes, no like serious changes, and it's pretty much the same sentiment, then I'll leave this video up. So yeah, basically he peaked. He's not actually big and famous like I was hoping he was, but it is what it is, bro. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.